Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. XRP will never be irrelevant. Okay, I put an asterisk next to that one. The community discussion of this new blockchain, called the sidechain, is what prompted me to bring it up, though. However, it's worth noting that Zaha is actually a whole independent blockchain with its own native cryptocurrency, XRP. The fact that this hasn't even been released is also noteworthy. Most of you have probably already heard of this. A handful of videos that I made address this topic. But David Schwartz, he was asked to comment on a certain component of this, and I'm going to share his thoughts with you because I found them really introspective. And that coincides with some of the kinds of things I've been thinking along similar lines with the question of why any cryptocurrency has any staying power. Bitcoin is the least sophisticated digital currency currently in circulation. Why is that? The fact that it ranks so well in terms of market cap begs the question, why? This is so for a number of reasons. A small asterisk follows my claim that XRP will never become irrelevant since it is possible that another blockchain will emerge in the future that is both more advanced and more widely used. That should be taken into account. However, in my opinion, standards become important when people aren't taken into account enough. And given the longevity of cryptocurrency, once it becomes established, it is difficult to replace. Bitcoin is no exception to this rule. Although XRP was not the first cryptocurrency ever created, it was among the first, making it more difficult for it to overtake Bitcoin in terms of market capitalization. Since XRP was one of the original cryptocurrencies, it has both longevity and staying power, establishing itself as a de facto norm in certain contexts. It will be difficult to replace that as well, which is why I have no worries about XRP's long-term viability. But before we go any further, let me make it perfectly clear that I am not a financial expert and am not giving any sort of financial advice. What I say should not be used as a basis for making any financial decisions. For fun and as a pastime, I enjoy making videos about crypto-related topics to share on YouTube. Okay, so I'll just briefly mention this with regards to Zaha. Since, I went as in-depth as I could have right now in relation to Zaha, which is being developed by a number of entities including cryptocurrency exchange GateHub XR, PL Labs, which of course, we'd say, Wind founded there, Scott Chamberlain with Evernote. And among them are some of the most trusted members of the XRP community at large. Therefore, I believe that everything is well. Yes, of course that's where I'll begin. But I'm still confused as to how this helps XRP. And the XRP ledger, because I read the 18-page white paper a few days ago, and I discussed this in greater detail in a different video, but they really didn't even scratch the surface of why this new blockchain is the home with the coin XRP. Also, the reasons why that's good for XRP. Ledger. So I penned a letter to Scott Chamberlain, who I consider to be a really wise human being. I've mentioned him in my films before for a few different reasons, but he has more information at his fingertips. So, I'm curious about the big picture here. What's the sales pitch? What gives here? What I really wanted to know was how this benefits the XRP community. How does this benefit owners of XRP? Since the presumption is that it's good, I'll go ahead and give it a chance. This group has earned and continues to earn my complete confidence and trust. But I demand to know the facts. It's as if there's something I don't know that nobody seems to be talking about. I decided to communicate with him via letter. Scott, I asked, can you explain how this is a good thing for XRP and the XRP ledger? A few days ago, I read this white paper and found it to be fascinating. I can see the potential benefits of this technology. I can see how people might gain from XRP. To my knowledge, however, it is assumed that Zaha will be advantageous to XRP and the XRP ledger. I can't say whether I agree or disagree with this premise because I lack sufficient evidence. The white paper provided only superficial coverage of the topic. If you find a more in-depth explanation elsewhere, please point me to the relevant topic or external source. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I hope the initiative is a huge success for you and everyone involved. After that, I appended the tag "wind" to the whole thing. That was obviously hours ago now. So yet, no one has responded. I'd really appreciate a response. I'm dying to know what happens next. The XRP ledger may have already had a lengthy discussion on the benefits of this development for XRP, but I wasn't aware of it. But I haven't had the chance to watch it yet. I don't recall hearing anyone talk about that, yet it seems like it would be an essential topic. If I were seeing anything, it would appear in my thread or in the crypto media. I felt the need to take the initiative and inquire as to the current state of affairs. And we'd say Wind in recent months had verbally, he'd publicly articulated his disappointment with the fact that the took some effort for the XRP ledger had not gone forward for more than 2 years, which would give Layer 1 of the XRP ledger smart contract functionality. And to sum it up, bearing in mind that I am not a tech guy, just a small fraction of our community consists of genuine developers. So, no, I don't count as one of them. I am not a nerd. Based on what I've read, though, I believe that cryptocurrency exchanges could face some major difficulties that would have far-reaching ramifications for financial transactions. And how that would affect the network, even temporarily, while things get smoothed out, because it does modify the code, like physically changing the Layer 1 code for the XRP ledger. Therefore, it appears that there are reasons why people were reluctant to shift, but we'd say Win wants this functionality, and he's afraid about the XRP ledger becoming, as he described it, the Nokia of cryptocurrencies. Is it because that can happen? XRP due to the lack of smart contract functionality. And whether or not that's the case, I expect XRP's popularity to keep growing. So, I'm not concerned about it at the moment. If we were to claim is white, then it would become true over time. Following that, I opened up about it. I just don't see it right now, but I can see how you could make your case. As a payment method, though, XRP is excellent. I mean, that's what David Schwartz expected all along. From the start, their expectations for XRP were vague. They had no idea what it would be used for, but they figured it must be good. You'll be put to use as a means of payment, and all they're really attempting to do is improve upon Bitcoin. That's why I made the analogy. There's also the suggestion that the how is analogous to an apple. This new blockchain is more like Apple, the most valuable firm in the world, while the XRP ledger is more like Nokia. Another member of the XRP community, Saul, referred to David Schwartz in a post, and he wondered how David felt about it. I'm curious as to David's thoughts on the XRP ledger. Compare Apple to Nokia to see the parallel. Someone did in fact tag David Schwartz, and he did reply. Saul, referring to an older thread in which XRP community members went in search of Huber and said hello to him, then asked David if it was fair to apply his response there to the example presented in the thread's original post above. How do you feel when someone like Jim Cramer exposes you as the mastermind behind a massive scam on national television? So, for those of you who missed it, I was talking about the ridiculousness of the moment. Jim Cramer, a popular CNBC host, has called XRP a giant con on national television. David Schwartz was finally asked his opinion on the matter, and here he is. I forgive them, he said, before posting a GIF with the caption, "For they know not what they do." Indeed, Jim Cramer is as oblivious as ever. That is correct. David replied, but now Saul is asking him if he thinks it's a fair application to apply his answer to the parallel presented in the initial post. In fact, David did answer. And he's been penning stuff ever since? That's a rather insightful parallel, in my opinion. A technical edge seemed unthinkable in Bitcoin's early days, and as a result, everyone assumed that Bitcoin would remain the dominant cryptocurrency forever. The assumption was made that any potential rival would also be open source. Bitcoin could easily adopt a superior technology if one existed and was available from a competitor. However, we all know that isn't the case. So, take a moment to consider how true that is. And that's not just me crapping all over Bitcoin because I like Bitcoin, I hold it, I get that standards matter, I'm going to keep holding it, And maybe layer 2 fixes all this and makes all the problems go away anyway, as I said at the beginning of the video. Yes, that is also a possibility. But if you're talking about Bitcoin and how some individuals are planning to alter the code in order to make Bitcoins better, then you're referring to a fork. What if everyone agreed that the forked version with the updated code was the real Bitcoin? The original, unaltered form would be something else entirely? You refer to it as classic Bitcoin. This is analogous to what happened with ETH. For those who are unaware, the original Ethereum split in two, with the latter taking the name of theory and being the basis for modern understanding. The initial theory after the split was given the name Ethereum Classic. And because that's what the world determined, if everyone on the planet thought the fork was something else, I would have called it a theory and plus, and the original theory would be Ethereum instead of Ethereum Classic. So its seams are what people say they are, and those have implications because there's a brand awareness, if you will, surrounding these things. Including Bitcoin, but the idea that Bitcoin was just going to take that on note because people don't want to, and David expands on this idea as to why it didn't happen. So, keep that in mind as he explains the introduction of Inuka petard into space. I'm not suggesting it's a threat to Bitcoin, but it hasn't helped either, and neither have other entrants into the market, such as the Way and XRP+. But if you think of it as a rival, that's fine. Just like it is here. Nothing disappears, including the number of individuals using XRP, the number of people interested in investing in it, or the number of problems it is now solving. Replacing an established norm is challenging. New technology must be significantly superior to what's already available. It's a tough nut to crack. And then David goes on to talk about how Ethereum embraced technology that was better than Bitcoin's in several crucial respects, but Bitcoin was unable to do the same. Bitcoin's worth stemmed largely from its users' ability to count on its consistent operation for decades. It would be ridiculous to suggest that these other blockchains have rendered Bitcoin outdated, despite the fact that Bitcoin's technical advancements lagged well behind those of many others. Bitcoin continues its traditional behavior. In addition, there is a demand for it. New blockchains that begin on a smaller scale are more likely to be adaptable as they grow and improve alongside the emergence of new technologies that can be used with real money without jeopardizing the security of existing Layer 1 blockchains. In many cases, there are valid reasons why existing chains should not incorporate new technologies. First and foremost, I don't believe that a new chain will diminish the value of an existing one. Instead of resenting something new that can grow the pie for everyone because it takes a slice, we should be working together to expand it. That settles it. That being said, I have no problem if a how is helping themselves to a slice. Since I'm not claiming this to be the case, the only thing I'm wondering is whether or not they would be. For the record, I am proposing ideas. Just that, actually. If that were the case, the only remaining question would be whether or not it's a good thing that the how and everyone associated with that would be basically taken advantage of the existing XRP ledger with their burden to meant to get more liquidity over there. And following up on that, is there a problem? I'm not claiming there is, but if there were, that would be the only thing left to wonder about. But if, and I hope this is the case, XRP and the XRP ledger, along with the how, and XRP all benefit from this, then it's a win-win. In addition, that sounds great. The problem is that no one has put it into words. Not mentioned in the white paper. I require an explanation for why. For this reason, I consulted Scott Chamberlain. If he doesn't respond, we'll have to blame the wind or somebody else. No, I actually work, though. For the record, I think they're trying to do things honestly. I'm just letting you in on what's going on in my head. Like I said, I think it's reasonable to ask them these sorts of questions so that they can give some thought to the issues at hand, but that doesn't mean they suspect something untoward is happening or that it has any bearing on you. But if you want to get it done today, David Schwartz hit the nail on the head. That's why I'm not concerned, even though the how is more advanced in terms of technology and XRP and the XRP ledger. Okay. Cool. Because, it's a split in the XRP blockchain. That is the literal explanation of how it works. But I'll tell you what, real-world adoption is tough to code, and it's not easy to launch a new blockchain. And he has no way of adding liquidity through programming. That XRP is listed on every exchange around the world. You can improve it, but that won't make XRP irrelevant or disappear. And why would the XRP blockchain's current crop of engineers care if there was an extra P in it? So what if they're attractive? Doing so is challenging. Getting something going is challenging, much like the flywheel analogy we discussed earlier. If there isn't a compelling cause to alter established norms, they will remain unchanged. That being the case, I stand by my initial assessment that XRP would never become irrelevant. This is how people are, therefore I told Asterix that it would take a lot to change their ways. It makes sense to just eliminate Bitcoin, even if you think it's reasonable. Please remove it. We can do without that Bitcoin crab, and which cryptocurrency is the least desirable from a technical standpoint. The world disagrees with you, and that's what really counts, so it's okay. If you really think that way, then it's fine that the rest of the world disagrees with you. I'm simply going to roll with it. Bitcoin is where I save my XRP. And eventually, if the hell launches, and it sounds like it will, maybe one day I hope to be in that position. I don't give advice on money matters. Nothing I say should influence your buying or selling decisions. We appreciate your listening. Give the video a like if you found it entertaining, and if you want to see more, click the subscribe button. See you later, bye.